Hey coffee lovers, how's it going? Today we're going to be talking about Koffee with Karan episode 4. This episode had Ananya Panday, the cute, the bubbly, the entitled and privileged actress from the Hindi film industry, and Vijay Devarakonda, the hot, the happening, extremely talented outsider of the South Indian film industry. These two have come together for the movie Liger, and they have come together for this episode, so let's get started. Hey girl!
Hey girl! I am so cheesy right now.
Cheesy? What made you cheesy?
Cheese is the new name. I'll not say cheese, I'll say Vijay because I don't have Vijay in my platter. I have only cheese and I can find only Vijay in this. So thanks to Karan Johar, darling.
Yeah, and you know what? I have something that goes extremely well with cheese platters, and that's some wine. Cheers!
Wow! Cheers, darling.
Okay, so this episode was really fun. Why? Because we got to see this really fun, young, fresh pairing, and they looked really comfortable with each other. They were obviously friendly with each other. So it was really great to see, and obviously unka aana banta tha kyunki unki movie aa rahi hai.
I really find this interesting because Ananya just got lucky. And that too in Dharma banner. And I really find them hot together.
Speaking of hot together, let's just talk about what they were wearing. Let's talk about the host, Karan, first. I am so glad he changed things up.
Thankfully.
You know? I'm so glad his black jacket is gone with that applique. I'm glad he was wearing something casual. You know, he had like this varsity jacket with the patchwork going on. I think it was great. But I also think he looked a little out of place. Karan Johar on these shows has always been, formal. And here he was a bit more casual, midlife crisis right now, because a guy in his 50s is wearing a varsity jacket. So what is more midlife crisis than that?
I actually thought it was very refreshing, He looked hip, he looked fun, he looked casual. And thank God, those glitters are gone for once a while, episode ko leke. And that too, I think it was very hip. The colors were good, he looks comfortable. Uske andar wo comfort level hai, wo ownership hai, कि उसको परवाह नहीं होती है कि आप उसको judge करें.
And I also loved, hello, can you see? I'm wearing neon yellow because I think Ananya was looking like this fresh, happy, bubbly, pretty actress, Jahan Janvi hum kehte the na, hot and sexy, but she doesn't look her age. Ananya, she looks like that young next thing. Her little haircut suited her, that bodycon dress that hugged every curve of hers, the length, it showed off her legs, and can we talk legs for days? This girl has some long legs. She was looking extremely pretty in that fresh makeup. And then beside her, Vijay was also looking really nice. He was more of this like casual vibe going on. I felt like a top, with it was a cream off-white color was really nice paired with the black trousers. But if I had to pick one, person who like completely stole the show for me, that was Ananya.
Ananya was this pineapple, She was served as a pina colada, that neon colada, and she was looking fresh, young. It was so different. And that too, Koffee with Karan, what we see, glamour hona chahiye, glitz hona chahiye. लेकिन उसने सबको इतने तरीके से maintain किया कि it's Gen Z thing. So she was looking really good. I love the high heels. Those purple heels were my favorite combination with that neon thing she was putting on. And Vijay Devarakonda, Mr. Cheese, he was looking really creamy, really dreamy. Vijay Devarakonda का जो style statement है ना, वो जैसे बोल रहा था कि whatever I feel कि मैं इसमें comfortable हूँ, मेरी personality को ये जाएगा, तो मैं वो करता हूँ. I love that tiger lapel over that detailing I really like, ताकि film की promotion भी हो जाए.
You know what, Odie? That shows how much attention you were paying to him because I didn't even notice anything on the lapel. I'm like, what are you talking about? Lapel mein kuch tha. Yeah.
I really find him cool and suave,
He
very
has this
suave.
very chill vibe about
Chill.
him. Doesn't take himself too seriously. Wasn't uptight. Same with Ananya. You're 100% right. People who come to this show, they're wearing gowns. They're dressed to the nines. And Ananya showed up in this like very peppy. It's really
Yeah.
cool. I just love her vibe as well. She doesn't take herself seriously either. And so that means she's
Yeah.
not a stuffy individual, and it shows in her style. So right off the bat, Odie, Karan talked about a really cool topic, which I completely agree with 100%. He talked about PC culture and how these days everyone has to be politically correct because आप कुछ भी कहोगे ना किसी को problem होनी है और उस problem से फिर पंगे होने हैं. You know, you say one word and people are so quick to jump down your throat, you know, criticize you, troll you. And Odie, you and me are also like this. है ना?
Exactly.
वो हमारे मन में है, वही जुबान पे है. This PC culture has kind of gone far. It has taken away people's like ability to be original, to be like upfront, be real. People are so scared कि हमने कुछ गलत कह देना है और फिर कोई problem हो जानी है.
मुझे लगता है you and I breathe and people get offended. You and I blink, people get offended. That's the point. I can't be politically correct. You can't be politically correct. And Karan can't be politically correct. But the problem is कि you have to be very careful. मैं ऐसा क्या बोलूं, ऐसा क्या करूं कि लोग offense ले लेंगे. It's a fashion these days.
ओडी, हमारे तो जोक्स भी लोग नहीं ले सकते. उनको लगता है कि हाय
Exactly.
क्या कह दिया. And then you know जब हम ये जोक्स मारते हैं लोगों को पता नहीं क्या क्या लेक्चर देना होता है ना. You and me just sit back, enjoy the drink, बोलते रहो, we're happy. Right off the bat, जैसे मैं camaraderie की बात कर रही थी, obviously Ananya and Vijay have some kind of connection, and this is apparent because obviously they have worked together, but not everyone who works together becomes great friends. इनको देख के लगता है कि there is a friendship there, क्योंकि वो कहती कि I was even hitting on Vijay and he didn't do anything. He didn't acknowledge my hitting on. And वो कहता कि मुझे तो पता ही नहीं चला. You need to be more direct. कितना direct होना पड़ेगा for him to notice? I mean, थोड़ा तो पता चल जाता है ना कि कोई मेरे ऊपर line मार रहा है. Like, come on.
मुझे ना धर्मा प्रोडक्शंस की ये बात अच्छी लगती है कि जब वो कल्चरल मिक्स करते हैं तो वो कंफर्ट लेवल लेके आते हैं. आई नेवर थॉट कि विजय देवरकोंडा जैसा मैंने उसको देखा है, ही इज अ शाय गाय, ही इज रिजर्व्ड, ही इज नॉट अ ब्लैबर. तो यहाँ पे उसका कंफर्ट लेवल एक नई साइड देखने को मिलती है. एंड ही वाज क्वाइट चिलिंग विद Ananya, and to me that was also a surprise. She is young, she is annoying. So yeah. So
I love वो offend होगी कि करण को ज्यादा लंबा hug मिला from Vijay, है ना? तो वो कहती है I didn't get this kind of hug. तो करण कहता है he's hot, obviously he's gonna get the hug. तो फिर Vijay
longer from me.
बुरा क्यों लगा? I blew you a kiss. लेकिन फिर वो उठा and वो बैठी रही, and then he came and leaned over and gave her a hug. I was like, this is a picture perfect moment. And right from there, you knew, okay, this is going to be a pretty like chemistry filled episode. And not every chemistry is like sexual or love. Chemistry between friends, you know? He said Ananya is sweet. She's funny. She makes me laugh. We can talk. We can hang out together. That's really cool because we hear a lot of stories that Ananya doesn't get along with her contemporaries. And they even talked about it later on in the show. And he was giving a different side of her. कि ये हंसाती है, इससे हम बात भी कर सकते हैं. You know, she's there. He even mentioned that she was there for him with her shoulder when he just let out, and that conversation led to tears. वो कहता मैं रोता नहीं हूँ, लेकिन with her I was able to let go and let loose, you know? So I feel like that shows a different side to Ananya, that shows that she has some depth to her.
I thought Vijay Devarakonda ने अपना जो veneer गिराया है, वो बहुत खूबसूरती से गिराया है. He has shown कि yes, मैं भी रोता हूँ. He has shown कि yes, मैं इतना कंफर्टेबल नहीं होता हूँ एक न्यू कमर से एक लड़की के साथ जो प्रॉक्सिमिटी होती है. उसने कहा जब मुझे एक आप प्रॉक्सिमिटी में डाल देंगे विद अ लेडी एंड देन देयर इज दिस montage, I have to touch her hair and all that. तो एक कंफर्ट लेवल डेवलप हो जाता है चाहते ना चाहते. यहाँ पे he also mentioned कि she did a real good job in like I believe she did because what I've seen about Ananya, she is very over trolled, you know, she's over trolled. Yeah, हाँ बुरी होगी, nepo and all that. But the reality is she's not a bad actor, to be very honest.
I liked her in her last movie, Gheraya. I thought she did well in there. That role suited her. I thought she was more grounded. And I think if in each movie she gets better and better, then we have a lot of hopes from Liger as well.
And that heart-to-heart conversation he mentioned, it was a date night. And I really like the way it, turned out. He was like, yeah, we went on a date. And she was like, was it a date? And he was like, yeah, I dressed up. You look very pretty. And then it led to Kichi. I did shed a tear. And she was like, yeah, I was a shoulder to cry out. And Karan was like, yeah, that must be very rare because really you don't care about the feeling of it. I really loved it.
Rare because तुझे अपने आप से फुर्सत नहीं मिलती दूसरों का सोचने की. That was hilarious. मुझे ये बात विजय की बहुत अच्छी लगी because a lot of these newcomers and not even newcomers at actor and actresses at any stage वो holiday पे जाते हैं या outdoor shoot पे जाते हैं. They're in like a place together, they're filming together. लोगों को लगता है कि scene होगा इन दोनों के बीच में. कभी-कभी yes, but a lot of times no. They're just playing a character. They're in a movie. They have to portray those characters, and that's it. If you know your boundaries and you know कि इसके आगे नहीं जाना तो नहीं जाना, and अगर उसको इसके ऊपर बात नहीं करनी तो नहीं करनी. जैसे करण उसको बार-बार कह रहा था कि अच्छा चलो, let's talk about your dating life. Europe में girlfriend है या नहीं? And he's like, like I don't know what you're talking about. फिर वो रश्मिका मंदाना के ऊपर पूछता है कि you have great chemistry, great vibes with her. What's the scene there? And all he would give is she's a darling. I'm fond of her. She's a good friend. You're not going to get any information from him.
Karan was like, okay, that night of emotions, did it lead to something? And she was like, yeah, it led to sushi. I was like, I love that.
Because वो एक लाइन बोल के वो करण भी चुप हो गया. Like what? इसके आगे में क्या? वो बार-बार विजय को पूछ रहा था, what's your relationship status? What's your relationship status? जानवी कौन है तेरे लिए? ये रश्मिका कौन है तेरे लिए? And all he says is, I'm happy in life. Like, man, I wish we were all that happy in life because he seems to be very, very happy. Karan, he was just poking him. Like, अच्छा, यहाँ से answer मिल जाए. यहाँ मैं question पूछता हूँ, यहाँ से. And Vijay was like, nope, I'm just going to dodge you left, right, and center. I'm not answering anything you want. I'm not giving you any mirch masala.
Karan started off very well. उसने start ही इनकी love life से किया. Okay, Ananya, you were with Ishan, you broke up. Then you are with Kartik. Are you with? And he was very direct to them. And she was like, kal ho na ho. She's just making things around. And then she's like, oh, you didn't see anything. He's like, no, I saw you having some intense conversation with Aditya Roy Kapoor. And I was like, what the hell is happening? So many.
I know you and me are huge fans of Aditya Roy Kapoor.
Yeah.
And you know what? If Ananya has the hots for Aditya Roy Kapoor, that means she has good taste. Because boy, that guy is hot. I don't know कि ये जोड़ी बनेगी कि नहीं, but obviously she's a young girl. She sees a hot guy. She's just having conversation with him. Not every single thing has to have something more than that.
I think Ananya is really smart. If she is going with Aditya Roy and she's, trying her luck on Aditya Roy, then she's very smart. Whereas for Vijay, Karan कहता है, okay, I have some serious question for you. Do you like cheese? And he's like, okay, I don't know where it is going. And she's like, I know it. And then came that cheese on the platter thing. He was shown how Sarah was lusting on him, how Janvi was lusting on him. He's that national crush. To cheese badi hai, must. And then I find that entire portion of Karan Johar very funny. Which girl do you like the most among these two? And he's like, Janvi's nice. I saw her 2 times. I met her. She's a nice girl. And Karan was like, why did you sound like an uncle of benevolence? Yeah.
And I loved how Ananya said, I want to be on this platter too. Like, mujhe kyun nahi is platter mein rakha? I really loved it. And can I just circle back to this Aditya Roy and Roy Kapoor and Ananya real quick? Agar ye jodi baithti hai na, to ek taraf hai Siddharth and Vidya, aur dusri taraf ho gaya Aditya and Ananya. जैसे ये prim and proper बातें कर रहा था, he wasn't divulging too much. Ananya was like, discreet? I'm the most indiscreet person. आपने कुछ भी बोला?
Undiscreet. Yeah. She said, I'm undiscreet.
Undiscreet. तो वो कहता, is that a word? तो कहती वो word नहीं है क्या? तो वो कहता indiscreet. From OD, how crazy was this? When he talked about crush, yeah, who are you dating? Yeah, who would you like to date? She wouldn't divulge. But then he said, she knows who she wants to marry, and he knows who she wants to marry. You know your end game? वो एंड गेम लाइक पहुंचना कैसे उस एंड गेम पर वो नहीं उसको अभी पता.
People are speculating about Arya Khan.
Wow.
He is the one she wants to marry to because the way he has brought up, I have seen you in the corridors of Mannat along with Shania and Suhana. Did you have this brotherly crush? Kehti, why would I have a brother crush on my brother? Because not your brother, Suhana's brother. And she's like, yeah, I like him. He's hot.
How that's so normal, if you have like a friend and she has like an older brother, you're always gonna be like, oh wow, he's so cool, he's so hot.
And Vijay कहता है, did you signal properly? Did you let him know? Because in case of Vijay, he was like, I didn't know, you didn't give me any proper signal.
She goes, उसके सामने भी मैं क्या neon dress डाल के जाऊँ? Keeping off of this, when he asked her about, the perfect coffee date for you, she goes, cookies and coffee and conversation, but the date doesn't end on that conversation. She leaves so much up for interpretation. Obviously, it can be anything. I loved her sassy, like quick, witty nature. I think that's really great.
She knows how to have fun.
And you just talked about Ananya, Suhana, and Shania. I found, just a second mein puri conversation done. It's like a lull. And then he goes, I'm going to ask you something. Are you going to be truthful? You are very good friends with Suhana. You're very good friends with Shania. You guys are very buddy-buddy. Wo kehti, not just friends. We are sisters now. So wo kehta, what would you do if one day they are in the industry, which obviously they're coming, they are here. What will you do if you're three fighting for a role? Will you back out for them or will you tell them to back out? I love what she said. She goes, काम hota hai. We will three fight for the role. Hum kyun back out karenge?
Kirti, that's a very important question. And I really was happy that she dealt it in a very mature way because today's reality is people love when somebody's down.
Yep.
People enjoy somebody's loss.
Yep.
And instead of focusing on their own success, they try to pull people down, and try to make other lose. The industry is like that.
Yeah.
There will be no primary relationships. There will not be friendships. I have seen this is very fickle. So what do you think? Will you guys survive? And she's like, yes, I think we will because we have seen it as our dream. We used to play these, acting games in our childhood. And I really love that about it. Because जब आपको पता है आप ऐसे फिल्मी घराने से हो ही, this is what you do. And even if they don't, even in my childhood, even in your childhood, I can easily say, we used to perform. So there's nothing wrong.
I feel like you have to keep that in mind. Yes, apne arch enemies nahi banna, hopefully. But if your relationship is going to suffer that easily because of a role or a movie, then how strong was that relationship to begin with? But then he didn't leave it at that. As soon as he talked about Shania and Suhana, he went to Sara and Janvi. Wo kehta, Shania and Suhana are to teri sisters hain, friends hain. He goes, what about Sara and Janvi? You don't share really good equations with them, do you? You don't like their success, do you? You have a problem with them, do you? And she was just avoiding, like, what do you mean? Why does everyone think I hate them?
She's like, I have my insecurities, Yeah. She's like, do you think they are better or you are better? I want to be best. And I love that about her.
I love that.
She doesn't answer, but she answers.
Yeah, is she aiming to be better or does she already think she's better than them?
I think she's aiming, but she believes she's better.
Yes. And can I burst her bubble? She's not better right now. So, Odie, a week after week, we've seen he's not just sex and dating and relationships and, glossy, fluffy stuff in this show. He also talks about really important things. So one topic he has not shied away from this season is this whole nepotism debate, insider versus outsider. So he went straight to Ananya and talked about nepotism. You are an actor's daughter, right? You have seen the industry. You've grown up in the industry. You are privileged, What do you think about this? What is your take on this? Even you have sat next to Siddhant Chaturvedi. He has talked about this. यहाँ उनके सपने खत्म होते हैं, आपके वहां से शुरू होते हैं. So what is that telling you? Is there a ceiling for outsiders? She said two things. She said on one hand, people think I'm a star kid. मेरे पास इतनी privileges है, But then on the other side, they also say कि my dad was never a star. They say कि वो failed actor था, उसकी कोई hits नहीं थी, है ना? So how can she have it both ways? I think that she played that card right. She is born into a film family. She has grown up with star kids. So yes, she has that advantage, which she has clearly acknowledged. But वो ये भी कहती है कि how is this any of my fault? मैंने क्या किया है? 19 years old थी जब वो सोशल मीडिया में आई या ये मूवीज का उसका शुरू हुआ. She goes, at the age of 19, people are trolling me for my family. They're trolling me about my dad. They're saying I'm flat chested, I'm ugly, they hate me. She's like, मैंने किया क्या? इसमें मेरी क्या गलती है? Why are you taking it out on me? Kudos to this girl that she goes through that trolling. She still goes through it every single day. Every single movie release, she goes through it. And still, if you look at her, she's so bubbly. She's so happy.
यहाँ पे what I really feel good about and bad about at the same time, she knows what is she talking about. Fine, you tell me I'm an Apo kid, you tell me I'm a star kid, I am born to Changi Pandey, but is it my fault?
Yeah.
And since this, young age, आप उसको constantly, not once, it's not a one-off thing. It's a constant, perpetual thing on daily basis, 24/7. She's being trashed, she's being trolled, she's being belittled. वो कहती है कि चलो मेरे बारे में बोल रहे हो, that's fine. आप मेरी फैमिली को लेके बोल रहे हो, and I'm really possessive about my family as well. Yeah. And she is like, okay, fine. You tell me I'm flat chested, like you said, and I'm ugly. My dad was never a star. ठीक है? कहती है, and to that we have suffered that whole phase when he didn't have hits. So me and my sister already suffered that, and nobody cares about it.
Yep.
We are just being, thrown under the bus of nepotism. Okay, fine. You are a star kid, so you deserve this shit. You deserve this trolling.
Like the fact that women, no matter what their age, are always critiqued on their body, it's just disgusting. यहाँ उसको बार-बार सुनाते हैं कि वो flat chested है. जब कोई लड़की या actress surgery करा के enlargement कराती है, then वो कहते हैं कि ये fake है. Then कहते हैं कि इसे surgery कराई है. फिर ये plastic है. तो which side are you on? Like वो natural बैठी है with her natural size, वो तब problem है. अगर कल जाके वो breast enhancement करा दे, फिर लोगों को problem होनी है कि इसने किया क्यों? Why didn't she love her body? अरे भाई, रोज वो सुन रही है कि I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough. ये बात सुन के दिमाग में बैठ गई, उसने कुछ कराया, in the future maybe. Then what do you expect when you hear that you're not good enough 24/7?
And Kirti, if you want to call out nepotism, okay, fine, go for it. Lekin does not entitle you to abuse a person constantly and tell that person you do not belong here. You please go off. आप अगर equality की बात करते हैं, equal fielding की बात करते हैं, तो nepotism को call out करें ना. अगले को गालियां क्यों देनी है? That's really sad.
And I like on the flip side, वो सीधे Vijay के पास गया कि Vijay, you obviously are from outside the industry, you have made it big, but he addressed कि सिर्फ Bollywood में ये nepotism की बात नहीं है. He goes to South film industry is also a very networked industry. There's a lot of relatives there, a lot of friends there, a lot of cousins, bhai behen, father son.
Nexus. It's a complete nexus.
So there's a lot of that going on. How did you break through? And उसने ये कहा विजय ने कि it was hard for me क्योंकि access नहीं होती या बहुत कम मिलती है क्योंकि they all have their contacts, वो एक दूसरे से बात कर रहे हैं, मैं ही आ रहा हूँ ना बीच में. So that is a problem. But I also like how he said, and Odie, you and me say this all the time, and we are hated for it. Okay, he said exactly what we thought. He सिर्फ यहाँ नहीं, in life is not fair. You don't pick and
choose. I love that line.
You can't pick and choose which class you're born to. These things are dealt, and then you work with it. You can't just sit there and crib, 24/7. Hi, that person is born to this family. That person has this much money. Yes, your life is hard. Yes, all of this happens, but that's not the other person's fault. कि वो कहाँ जन्मा है. So I really love that. And he goes, I also don't like or dislike someone based on where they were born, who their parents are, because you wouldn't want someone judging you based on who you are, who you were born to, So अगर आप नहीं चाहते कि कोई आपके parents के ऊपर, आपकी family के ऊपर उंगली उठाए, why are you doing that to others? And he says that life isn't fair for anyone. You just pick up and fight, and you fight for your goals, and that's it.
That's what I really like about Vijay Devarakonda. Not only he's hot, he's very grounded.
Yeah.
And he has understood that when you are in the business, you need to be prepared for it, और आपको फिर दूसरे को क्रिप करने की बजाय, दूसरों से सड़ने की बजाय, और उनके पीछे पड़ने की बजाय, you be part of the system and then work through the system. And he has made it big. He was very correct कि the world is not fair. मतलब अगर मुझे कभी इतराज नहीं होगा कि I have been working my ass off for the rent and somebody is born with a silver spoon. I'll not crib that. But I will work my ass off to show that I deserve it and belong in the same industry.
So going from this nepotism debate, I love this topic that Karan brought up, which is basically Arjun Reddy, Kabir Singh topic. Okay. I love how he asked both Vijay and Ananya on their takes on this whole thing. First, he talked to Vijay and he said, how do you feel about the controversy surrounding this? Obviously, both versions were very big successes. Arjun Reddy with him and Kabir Singh with Shahid. What do you feel about the praise? What do you feel about the adulation? But also, what do you feel about the criticism you have faced? You know, about this misogyny that was displayed in this movie, about this ultra controlling guy, the slap, even. And, you know, I didn't like how he answered this question, okay? He basically said, hey, I don't judge the character, which fine, aapne character play karna hai, agar aap judge karoge to nibhaoge kaise? I understand that. But then he said this line that I didn't like at all. He goes, if I can't empathize with the character, I cannot play him. So why and how did he empathize with this character, Arjun Reddy? I don't understand. This guy who's completely controlling, this guy who wants to see A to Z what his girlfriend is doing, how she's breathing, what she's wearing, where she's going, who she's meeting, and then has the audacity to raise his hand on her. And, you know, he's drinking, he's smoking, he's not paying attention to his career, he's not paying attention to his health, he's a doctor, but yet he's doing all this nonsense. And then without much lesson learning, without much remorse, he's able to win the girl back. So where do you empathize with a character like that is my question. But I also like कि he addressed कि अगर मैं इस situation में होता, मैं कभी हाथ ना उठाता क्योंकि मैं इस situation में होता ही नहीं. You know? So I do like that he acknowledged कि मैं अर्जुन रेड्डी नहीं हूँ. लोग मेरे पास आते हैं, मुझे पूछते हैं कि are you Arjun? Are you like him? And he's like, that was a character. I played that character. That was my job. Thinking this is me. I am Vijay, and I am not like that character.
I understand why you felt bad about it, but I was very clear why he's speaking like that. Because being an actor, I think it's right to empathize with the character and the story and not judging it. Otherwise, nobody would have played a terrorist. And there, he's fine. I think Vijay Devarakonda, in his explanation, I find it right. And thankfully, he cleared it out. You know, if I'm in a space jahan pe mujhe aisa lage is situation mein ke I am helpless enough to know what to do, so I'll rather leave that space and I'll go away. I'll walk out. And yes, it's not about Arjun Reddy only. We have seen it for the decades and decades. लोग समझते हैं दिलीप कुमार शहजादा सलीम थे, इसको अर्जुन रेड्डी समझते हैं, शाहिद को कबीर सिंह ही समझेंगे. And sad part is people. This speaks volumes of the audience actually. Which kind of movies they made it hit. You know, कि अगर आपको कबीर सिंह को हिट कराना है.
This whole debate here because I'm one of those people. I think the acting was great, the music was great, but I hated the story and I didn't like the movie because of the story. I'm never gonna take away from the acting. I loved the acting. Great job.
Music was great.
Great. But you know, एक तरफ Kabir Singh को इतनी बड़ी hit की, एक तरफ Arjun Reddy was a massive hit, right? Then on the flip side, जब तापसी पन्नू थप्पड़ में आती है, then she's ridiculed. So, you know, let's not even get into that debate. But I love, you know, कि Ananya took this.
Ananya was surprised.
I loved her answer, maybe because I just resonated with it. I love how she said कि people take seriously what they see on screen. जो वो movies में देखते हैं उनको लगता है कि ऐसा हम भी कर सकते हैं, ऐसे life में होता है, which is 100% true. You know, when people say that you need to be careful about what you're showing to the world, you know, so then she's right. क्योंकि अर्जुन रेड्डी देखोगे, कबीर सिंह देखोगे तो लगेगा देख के कि yeah, my boyfriend can slap me, it's okay. And, you know, he doesn't have to have so much remorse. I will go back to him, you know? So I think she was good in saying, I do not condone this behavior. I don't like it. I will never let myself or my friends and family be in this situation. And no one around me thinks this is okay either. उसने दिखाया कि self-respect भी होता है and ज़रूरी है. No man should ever be raising his hand on a woman and no woman should ever be raising her hand on a man. It's just not okay.
You know, Ananya just showed how matured she has become. You know, she has matured beautifully. And like Karan was like, don't forget, you're not a millennial, you're a Gen Z. And being a Gen Z, she's really sorted. She was like, ना मैं अपने लिए पसंद करूंगी, ना मैं अपनी friends के लिए पसंद करूंगी. I would never recommend a friend to be in that state. And I will tell them, stay away from that situation. And I think it was really important of her and gutsy of her कि वो ईसा की बात करती भी है, that too कि उसका co-artist साहब बैठा हुआ है, Vijay Devarakonda is sitting over there right next to her, and she was not doing appeasement. She was very genuine about it. She spoke her heart out, and I love this about her.
You know, everyone thinks differently, so I just feel like one slap, people think कि अच्छा एक ही बार हुआ है, you know, नहीं. But that opens the door. It shows, चलो एक थप्पड़ मारा, she's okay. Next time दो मारूंगा, 15 मारूंगा. You know, I just
entitlement है ना कीर्ति. Entitlement अगर लड़का समझता है तो लड़की देती है. To be very honest, and that's not right.
Exactly. Karan Johar is a master of weaving topics together, going from easy to hard, from hard to easy. So he did this like coffee inquisition with Vijay, or wo usko puchta about his sex life. When was the last time you did it? Where was it? Threesome, you know, are you into this stuff? Vijay was like, you know, okay, do I answer? Do I not answer? And Ananya goes, nee, kal, aaj, kal, aaj. And he looks at her and then she goes, kal.
You know what, Kirti? The way it was asked and the way he answered, that chemistry was very beautiful. He's like, after this shoot, so he's like, I'm not going to have sex. Kehta, no, I'm not going to ask you this. I was just asking, what will you do? He's like, I'm going to do Liger promotions, not having sex. I love that entire portion.
कि मुझे क्यों नहीं बुलाया to do Liger promotions? Maybe तो हो तो Karan's like, you're here na.
Like, you're here na.
So then from there we go into bingo, and I love how Ananya said that, you know, she circled the bingo square where it said she has ignored advances from co-stars, and he was like, acha, which co-stars? Because I'm thinking that he thinks she's gonna say some man's name, and she goes Tara and Deepika.
And she's like, Tara was fully over me. She was kissing me, but I ignored. I didn't give attention.
And then she circles कि उसने अपनी relationship status के, you know, झूठ बोला है. And he goes, yeah, obviously तूने इसी show पे झूठ बोला है. And then one really cool thing that she admitted to, she said that, you know, मैं ना अपने partners के phone का code जो होता है वो memorize कर लेती हूँ, and then I have snooped around on their phones, and I'm like, oh my god.
And Vijay Devarakonda, he looked at her like this. What the hell is she talking? She's that dangerous. And I love that. And you know, that hickey bingo. I like that. Have you ever covered a hickey? And she's like, yeah. So Karan was like, which product do you normally use? She's like, concealer. So Kathy, I'll help you in yours if you have trouble. Na? So Kathy, I don't know where you get it. And Karan was like, अरे यही का problem होता है ना, नीचे होगा तो cover हो जाएगा. Then she's like, okay. And he's like, no, obviously somebody would want give me a hickey or love bite on my cheek. Nobody's eating my face. Look at that. Oh, like, so it hasn't been turned to you. She's like, yeah, I got a hickey here. And Vijay कहता है, no, it must be a bruise. कहती, no, it wasn't a bruise. And then Karan was like,
I was like, damn, Karthik, is that how you do things?
And Karan was so persistent. Who was the guy? Who did it? Who is the vampire? And she's like, what is this who? I'm not going to name anybody.
And you know, I also, on Vijay's side, I liked how he talked about like being hungover on set. And he was like, I didn't ever arrive drunk to a set, but I have gotten drunk on a set, you know, for a scene. And he goes, itna drunk ho gaya ki we had to pack up. You know, wo alag baat hai. And this has happened to Salman and Chal Mere Bhai. This has happened to Farooq and Devdas. So, you know, it's pretty normal. I don't think
Aditya Roy Kapoor, even in Ashki too.
Yes. Getting into character, guys. To make this look believable, thoda bahut peena padta hai.
But Kirti, you're not tipsy. You just have a drink. But you're not tipsy.
I'm not tipsy. I know you want to talk about this answer, so I'll just bring it out there. When he talked about, you know, where in a public place have you done the deed? And he goes on a boat. He goes, on a boat? He goes, yeah, on a yacht. He goes, yacht? He goes, yeah, it was a yacht. And Ananya was like, huh, really? He goes, desperate time.
No, Ananya was like, I haven't done it. Kehta, you haven't. Kehti, I have not done even anything. Kehta, oh, you're a virgin now. Kehti, if my parents are watching, please Kara. The car portion was so funny. She was like, I hope you are not driving. So Karan was like, what will they do if he is driving? And then he realized, okay.
And then he was
okay,
like,
okay. Oh, okay. And Vijay
I
was
was
so
like,
funny to see.
damn, you can tell that this is the new generation coming
Yeah.
and answering questions because the generation before them, they would not have answered these questions. I mean, Salman अपने 50s में आके कहता है कि वो तो virgin है तो फिर क्या ही
Virgin.
No, and the most hilarious was, it takes a lot of work for, someone to make it into his bedroom. But it doesn't take much work to make it into the car.
Exactly.
So, Odie, favorite round, the rapid fire round. But I do feel he was better than her, but not by
Yeah, to Vijay's
margin
credit,
was
he was
too much.
good.
The margin
Yeah,
was
to
insane.
Vijay's credit, he was good.
So it started off with him describing these 4 individuals. I think it was 4, maybe 5 individuals. He said Samantha is desirable. He said Allu Arjun is like an older brother. He said Rashmika is a special buddy. Special buddy.
Special buddy.
He said Dulquer Salman is his kind of guy. Like they could chill, they could hang out. So that's great. This controversy, these FIRs have been released for Ranveer because of his nude shoot. I love how this beloved star, this beloved actor of India, Vijay Devarakonda, said that he does not mind shooting nude. So this is not just Ranveer Singh being over the top attention seeker. Even other individuals are saying there's no problem with it if it's done in the right way. And he also said that he would never be embarrassed to go on a social media rant. That's good. Jo aap feel
That's good.
Don't shy away from it. So that was really nice. And I love how he said that Deepika is love and she exudes love.
Film Companion ka 100 best performances of the last decade, where I witnessed this pure love between these two persons.
And the crazy thing was, ये इस side बैठा था, फिर दीपिका थी और फिर रणवीर. So she was like in a sandwich between them, and उसमें उसको प्यार मिल गया, प्यार exude किया. That was really cute. I like that.
Kirti, that moment was pure gold in that episode. I clearly remember he was asked, do you like somebody or do you like any one of their performances? And he was like, I've had massive crushes here, And he looked at Deepika and Deepika looked at him and they both smiled. Then he says, Alia is mad talent and Disha Patani is athlete. And it was like, athlete? What are you saying?
I was like, damn, that's shady, but it's 100% true.
Yeah.
And I love how he said Sara is funny and witty, which she is. And Janvi is cute. So.
Cute. Yeah. And he was like,
Ananya कहती, what about me? तो वो कहता, adorable, juvenile.
Juvenile. Her expressions were bang on.
The best part about his rapid fire was the acting question. He क्यों करते हो? And he's like, obviously money is there. Obviously luxury is there. Comfort is there. He goes, those are important. Again, I want to be an example for people, for them to realize you can come from nowhere and you can make it big, follow your goals and make your dreams come true. So I really love that because उसने चिरंजीवी का नाम लिया कि that's who he looked up to, and I think Shahrukh का नाम लिया कि
Shahrukh का नाम लिया.
Yeah, so that's who he looked up to because obviously those are 2 examples too who have made it in a big way. He's like वो मेरे लिए थे तो मैं किसी और के लिए inspiration बन जाऊं, so that was really nice. On the flip side, Ananya starts her rapid fire, and when they asked about a desirable man, she says Vijay, and she said, piggybacking off of what he said about the nude photo shoot, she said, I wouldn't mind seeing him nude. This girl is very moved. And then I think, like Sarah, she also said her biggest regret was that she was in a relationship. You know
Been
what?
in that relationship.
This might be Karthik, okay?
This might be Karthik, exactly.
मुझे भी लग रहा था कि सारा Karthik ऊपर बोल रही थी और ये.
Yeah. But Kirti, I really like the way she answers. Although I believe Vijay Devarakonda was way better, but when she was asked about Sohana and Shania, she's like, they'll get 1 kick from me and definitely I'll be getting 3 kicks from them.
Yeah. You know what? I also love how she said a thirst trap is Ranveer Singh, and for strippers, she would love Varun and Ranveer. I think everyone has
Towel
said that.
series. Towel series. She said Towel series.
Yeah, Ranveer. I really love that. And then she said her favorite part of acting is that वो रो पाती है. कहती मैं अपनी normal life में रोती नहीं हूँ.
She said it's a let out.
Yeah.
I'm full of emotions. Do you use? Karan asked her, do you use glycerine? Are you a gliss girl? I need a buffet. I can do anything to weep my heart out. I can go for it.
Yeah. Speaking of like hearts, when he asked what's the turn on for you, she goes, Veiny hands. I 100% agree. 100%. You know, just hot mein wo,
Yeah, I
I
know.
really love that.
Muscular hands and
Smell.
smell.
Smell
Yeah.
is a big thing. I love a good cologne. Okay, smell is a huge thing. Butter chicken. She said
That
butter
was you, basically. Katie, that
Foodie.
was you.
Foodie.
Sorry.
foodie. And then she said direct people. I feel like ये Ananya अपने turns on बता रही थी कि मेरे. Like every single thing was matching.
Exactly. कि रगों वाला हाथ चाहिए, स्मेल अच्छी होनी चाहिए और बटर चिकन चाहिए. I was like, okay, fine. That's Kirti for sure. She needs a
Or
chef.
direct people. I don't like people going around the bushes, like, you know, like playing like, अच्छा इसको ये बताना है, उसको ये बताना है. No, मेरे मुंह पे बताओ जो बताना है. You know.
Yeah. Karan was very funny in one more thing. He was like, Vijay, how do you get aroused? And he looked at Ananya and then he looked at her and he was like, I'm doing this telepathy. And Ananya कहती है, oh, I got the answer. And Karan was scandalized. Please articulate now. And she's like, is it your name? And he's like, what are you saying? कहती है, I'm asking, मतलब, I thought it's your name. And Karan was like, oh, Vijay, 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 Vijay. And Ananya कहती, no, not that repetitive. I mean, once. And Karan was like, what is the point in using your name for once? Like Vijay and done. कहता ऐसा तो arouse नहीं होता ना. I think that conversation was hilarious.
So obviously Vijay wins this round, and then we go to the glam zone where they play the series of games. And I think like Vijay stole the show here. I didn't think that he was gonna get all of these answers so right, but he did.
She was praying.
Who are you
Karan was
praying? God or
God. And then in the end, when Bhagyashri question showed up, and that Vijay Devarakonda was like, how the hell would I know? And she's like, Bhagyashri. And then that Sheila ki Jawani moment, it was also very funny. I thought she was like, मैंने कर लिया, चलो. Oh, yeah.
And he goes,
Step.
what is that?
What is that?
At the end of this round or games, Ananya won. How did she win? Because she was able to call celebrities quicker than Vijay was. So that was like, okay, ek ne wo jeet liya, ek ne ye jeet liya. So all in all, I think this was a really fun episode. We got to see their camaraderie, we got to see their chemistry, and I feel like अगर इस show में इतनी chemistry दिख रही है, हमें अच्छा लगा देख के. I feel like in the movie भी कुछ दिखेगा, you know, similar.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's really cool to see. Okay, guys, that was it for us today. Let us know what you think. What did you think about Vijay and Ananya's chemistry? What did you think about their answers? Did you like how upfront Ananya was? Did you like how Vijay kept his cards close to the vest? And also follow us on Instagram. I am Furry602 and Odie is
Odis_Insta18.
So there you have it, guys. Like and share and follow and subscribe and exude some love towards us because we
सब्सक्राइब दे दो, बस बहुत हो गया. अभी तो मैंने इतना नखरा भी कर लिया, ठीक है ना. हमने नेशनल क्रश भी डिस्कस कर लिए, पूरा चीज का प्लेटर ले आए हैं. What else do you need, darling?
आप कहो तो मैं हर रोज ड्रिंक करूंगी.
But I'm loving this. You know, Coffee with Karan season 7. It's good by far.
Maybe we should do cocktails with Kirti.